Hey, welcome to another episode of the Blackout Tips podcast. I'm your host, Rod, joined as always by my co-host,
Karen.
and we are live on a Wednesday. I don't know why I thought yesterday was Wednesday. I think it's going around. Someone in the chat said they thought today was Thursday. So they was like, I came in to see Balls Deep Sports, and I was like, oh, that's funny because we're not doing that this week. So you're gonna be even more disappointed,
right?
Even if it was Thursday. But we are here to spread the gospel truth and to talk about our Lord and Savior Jesus Christ. Let's get into it. The official weapon of the show is
the taser,
an unofficial sport,
bullet ball,
a bullet ball extreme, and lobster mac and cheese is always a disappointment. Believe me. Okay. Let's talk about. That's just something that's been on my heart for a couple of days, y'all. Not all this is about the news. Some of this I just need to vent, let y'all know how I'm feeling.
Get it off your chest.
And lobster mac and cheese is a food tease. It's a tongue tease.
Yeah, because we've gotten it recently, and
I've gotten it many times, Karen. Not just recently.
Salty. It's been.
It always fools me. It looks delicious.
It does.
Two separate foods that I do enjoy by themselves. And that yet the combination always underwhelming. I don't know what it is, y'all. All right, let's get into the show that had nothing to do with anything.
I know, and how we talking about? Excuse me, lobster macaroni and cheese.
Yeah, I mean, I guess it was random thought.
I seen somebody with a lobster grilled cheese sandwich, and that probably falls in the same category, then, don't it?
Yeah, it was a lobster mac and cheese sandwich or something like that. And yes. I said, yeah, that's what made me think of it. I said, fucking, because it looked great.
It did. It looked delicious.
It's amazing. It looks great. I don't even know what to tell you. I guess it's like when people talk about having sex with somebody that looks good, but they have terrible sex. I guess it's like that. But every time I get food, I'm like, oh my God, lobster mac and cheese. How can anyone fuck this up? And then the 75th time that I spent lobster money, not mac and cheese money. The 75th time, I'm like, I'll never again. And then 76, I'm doing it again. I don't know.
Even if you use all the cheeses, it still ain't lobster.
And I had it from black people. I had it food trucks.
Yep.
Matter of fact, I don't think I've ever had lobster mac and cheese. I've had it in the fancy restaurants.
Yeah, no,
it don't matter. Like people, if you go to, because everybody got a spot that they swear. So, if you go to a Pier 47 over off the coast, and it's a man there that catch the lobster fresh, and he milks his own cows to make the cheese, and it's like that shit is gonna be mid, just like all the other lobster and cheese. It's okay. You like mid things. It's fine. It's like how conscious rappers put lyrical in front of everything. It don't make it better. They just like to put that lyrical to make it sound like they saying something. I'm the lyrical Jesse James. Okay, cool. Oh man. Speaking of which, you know what?
What's up?
Lobster mac and cheese is kind of like Instagram models. If you think about it, you know how you follow an Instagram model because they look great. But then they start posting inspirational stuff and they children and they man. And then it's like, I didn't come here for this.
Did not come here for this.
That's what it is. And honestly, on my Instagram, I can't speak for nobody else's, but my Instagram, these IG models stay sliding in my DMs. Trying to fuck. It's honestly embarrassing. Good grief. I know y'all see I'm taking. I post pictures with my wife all the time. I'm sorry, Nicole 934208250. I will not send you my zip code.
You better not.
Or tell you my Cash App. I'm not doing it.
Not her. No.
I'm sorry. Nice try.
You need to go after the real ones. I think that sounds like a bot.
I know you only have 4 posts from the day and they're all thirst traps, so you must just be getting started as an Instagram model. But I will not accept your friend request. I'm sorry.
No.
Okay.
These ain't no seasoned vets.
I don't see no check marks next to your name. Nothing. You're not verified. So no.
I don't see you in no pics with no ballers.
No. This is not about to happen. You need my routing number for real? We haven't even gotten to know each other.
Why you need my ACH information?
And the last random thought is, who was the person that realized racehorses had to piss harder than other horses? Like, what is that? I wonder where that comes from. Because, they say, like, I had to piss like a racehorse.
Yeah, I've heard people say that comment
So
before.
who's the person that noticed that? Like, regular horses, the ones that don't be racing,
they must trickle out.
They take their time.
Racehorses
is pow.
Racehorses out here pissing like water hoses.
Yeah, I actually have no proof that they piss any different than any other horses. I've never been interested in horse piss.
Me either.
Just not my thing, I guess. But some horse piss expert out there is like, I gotta pee so bad. You know what it remind me of?
I was riding a racehorse.
Smarty Jones. I remember. Maybe they time everything for racehorse, including the piss. I don't know.
You never know.
All right, now we can get into the show. Coronavirus news.
Again? Look, here we go again. We got variants. Really need to keep a mask on hand and follow the plan. Get the vaccine and second shots, whether woman or man. Black out who tips is doing their part, but the dummies expand. Niggas would rather believe a bunch of misinformation. Fuck y'all idiots not getting shots. Now we gotta regress. If we keep going in this direction, we never can rest. Never can get back to the lives we be living the best. Damn fool, stop the lying, stop the intubation crying, cause it's your fault that motherfuckers dying. Damn fool, stop the lying, stop the ventilator crying, cause it's your fault that motherfuckers dying. I do not understand this shit. I'm not a fan of this. We were like one win from the pandemic championship. The fuckers wanna leave it to game 7 with Giannis Delta Kumbo blocking forward progression and Chris middle fingers to your plans. Man, damn. Looks like it's no true holiday for you and your mans. I'm sick of black people dying for real, so I'm just writing this new piece to let you know how I feel.
Coronavirus.
Fuck that COVID-19 is unseen. It's creeping in the air for you to breathe, yeah. So fuck that COVID-19 is unseen. It's creeping in the air for you to breathe, yeah.
Coronavirus news, man. And this is pretty big news to me.
Okay, what's up?
Like, it changes everything you think about the pandemic today.
Okay.
Okay, so first, I'll start with the little news first. Carnival Cruise booking soar after it eases COVID testing requirements.
Oh, yeah, I can see that.
Yeah. Plus, I think because it's politicized by Republicans, that's the silent. Anytime you hear somebody say something's politicized, there's a silent by Republicans that should go behind that. Anyway, I was thinking about that shit today. I was listening to this podcast, Will Be Wild or something, about the January 6th insurrection. And it's a really good podcast. But anytime anybody in government or something, it's like, well, since it's been politicized, I just feel like I would like the extra 2 words added to that, which is by Republicans. Because Democrats don't really politicize shit. Like they really just be like, these are the facts. Do what you will with them. Here's what we think you should do. Republicans are the ones that are like, and if you don't do this, you hate America. You
hate the bald eagle.
Yeah.
You're like, what?
It's like, we don't actually have facts. We just have vibes. And the vibe is wearing a mask means you are a traitor to America. Like, it's always them.
You don't love this country.
Anyway, what I was going to say is I wonder how much of this uptick is due to the fact that once they relax their COVID requirements, there's a lot of people who were boycotting the other way, like who were like, I'm not going. The liberal cruise elite or whatever they be saying in their WhatsApps and Truth Socials. But when they dropped this requirement, how many people were like, oh yeah, cool, I could have been going on a trip and wore a mask and been vaccinated, but I was never going to do that. But now that y'all say I don't have to, I'm going back, and now tourism is going back up for them. I wonder if that's part of it. And then of course the CDC saying this shit is over.
Yeah, I mean, so they adjusted their rules, and I think for a lot of people, they feel like it's normal, like everything is back to normal. So kind of, yes, a percentage of Republicans, but just people are like, hey, I can actually go traveling again. I can go on the cruise, because a lot of people stopped because they was like, because actually the cruise ships was some of the first places that had these breakouts. They couldn't dock. Like, it was a huge thing for the industry.
Mm-hmm.
And so people are like, hey, I don't want to be trapped on a fucking cruise ship, traveling all around the world, or where the fuck I'm going, catch COVID, and have to sit on that bitch for days before I can get off.
Yeah, I wonder what happens if you have an outbreak now.
Nothing, I guess.
Yeah, I wonder, do you just treat it like the flu? Like, oh, the flu's going around?
Yep, you probably don't isolate or anything. Why would they? Because everybody said, fuck it, is normal.
Trump officials bragged about pressuring the CDC to alter COVID reports, emails reveal. Congressional investigators have released emails and documents that show the Department of Health and Human Services appointees under former President Donald Trump regularly bragged about their efforts to influence researchers' reports on the coronavirus. Trump appointees succeeded on several occasions in changing language and influencing the tone of the CDC's morbidity and mortality weekly reports, which offer weekly public updates on scientists' findings. And one example, Trump officials successfully pressured the CDC to change the opening line of a report, calling it a small victory, but a victory nonetheless. And yippee! The yippee is such a Trump thing. Like, no scientist writes that.
Of course not.
He's like, and that had yippee to it. That'll make them happy. But yeah, that's pretty big news. Jim Clyburn accused former White House COVID-19 advisor Dr. Scott Atlas of advocating for policies that would allow the virus to spread widely among many Americans. Documents obtained by the panel show that Atlas was aware of and may have participated in efforts to attack reports issued by the CDC in order to justify Trump's push to reopen.
Of course. Fucking course. Like, the thing is, y'all are just confirming what a lot of people thought. They knew how deadly it was. They understood it all. They didn't give a fuck. They was like, we're going to trudge through this, tell everybody it's okay. The only reason why he even acknowledged that it was a virus and shit like that is because so many people died. It's not because he wanted to, but because he had to. Because it was like, nigga, all these dead bodies, like, bitch, you got to acknowledge this. You can't act like these people are not dying.
Yeah, former science advisor Paul Alexander had wrote that small victory, but yippee, you know, that thing.
Mm-hmm.
And so 2 days later, he requested Atlas's help in altering another CDC report on COVID-19 deaths among young people that Alexander said was timed for the election in order to keep schools closed. Can you help me craft an op-ed? Alexander wrote Atlas. Let us advise the president and get permission to preempt this, please, for it will run for the weekend, so we will need to blunt the edge as it is misleading. Earlier in the month, Alexander and Atlas had asked Atlas to draft another op-ed to oppose masks for children and school closures during the pandemic. I think a short 400-word op-ed on this will help people push back to school. I do think locking down our kids and healthy adults and masking them can dampen their functional immune systems. Do you think this can be done? So this is how much they were manipulating. And I remember reading op-eds at that time, like, who the fuck is this guy? Why is he advocating the opposite of science? You know, cause I remember those kids aren't at danger. And it's like, and we would talk about on the show, it's like, no, that's not, kids have been protected because the first thing we did was close the schools,
right, and send everybody home.
Yeah, this whole like it's not a big deal thing. We actually are like, we don't necessarily have the data to say it's not.
Right. And then what was happening, schools was opening up, kids was catching it, taking it back home and killing the adults.
Impressive for the same strategy in the fall, Atlas wrote, universities should stay open even when they see an increase in cases. Yes, cases will increase among young people as they socially interact, but that shouldn't be a cause for panic. Echoing dangerous herd immunity theories in an op-ed published September 15th, a draft of that op-ed was first edited and revised by Alexander according to a September 8th email. So like they were, this is important coming up to the head of what I'm about to say, but they have been manipulating the CDC and undermining it and undermining faith in the institution like under Trump. And I think that carried over till now. I think a lot of people, when they say they don't trust the CDC or they have mixed messaging, it's ironic because when Republicans have when they control the government, they do things to knock away the legs of the government agencies, and then they use that same stuff that they've done as proof that the government is terrible. It's like, oh, look, HUD won't help you. It won't even, it doesn't even do anything. And you're like, well, that's because when you were in charge, you put Ben Carson in charge of it, and then
funded it.
You told Ben Carson to not do anything. And so you're now, whenever a Democrat is in charge, like, see, that's the whole problem in the first place. There's never any accountability under there. There's never any regulation. Listening to that podcast about January 6th and the insurrection, it was ironic because the Department of Homeland Security, of course, for years has been on top of the fact that domestic terrorism is the number one threat to the United States. And a whole domestic terrorist, Donald Trump, was in charge. And the when they started the January 6th hearings, like, or maybe even before this, but one of the things that was pointed out was there's 50 open offices, not just job offices, meaning positions of leadership in the Homeland Security branch. There were 50 jobs that are important jobs that were just not staffed under Trump.
Yes, because if anybody remember when Trump took office, a lot of these positions, people were actually, they were resigning because they was like, fuck you. Mm-hmm. Or either they were resigning, quitting, or either he would make it where they was basically was pushed out of their off, with like fired or pushed out of the position, and then he wouldn't fill the position up. A lot of people underestimated how chaotic the fucking government was when he was in charge. Like you say, all these important positions, which means nobody was there to make decisions. So you had whole branches and whole wings that would show up and have fucking nothing to do because you had no supervisors, no managers, nobody to tell these people what they need to do. And then things was important. He was just like, you know, the people that actually cover diseases and tell us what to do and kind of can estimate and guesstimate, you know, when these things would come to America. Disband all of that, bitch. And you're like, the fuck is wrong with you?
Yeah, I hear you. I think that's been a major part of it. And then when you have a self-fulfilling prophecy like this, a government can't help you, I'm in charge, I won't help you, now I'm out, the government didn't help you. See, I was right. It hurts. It erodes public trust. It erodes the ability of people to do those jobs. And then when people resign in the government, it's one of their like few tactics to be like, hey, I'm blowing the whistle, this is bad. And what happens is the bad faith actors go, I just won't fill the position. Like, not even I'm gonna fill it with a crony, just I will not fill it. There's fuck a qualified person. I would rather there be no Homeland Security than even my own Homeland Security that might stumble into doing the job by accident.
Right, that actually might care about the position.
Yep. So Oklahoma lawmaker is suing for the coronavirus relief fund records because his state, which I believe is a Republican state, got $40 million for the education department, but there's no oversight for it. And an audit by the department, by the U.S. Department of Education.
Oh, that money was going everywhere.
Yes.
Because once you be like, here's a whole, particularly with Republicans, here's a whole bunch of fucking money. We're not, because when Democrats are in charge, they have like, hey, you could do this with the money, you know. And a lot of them got mad because Biden was like, hey, you know that money we gave y'all to give to y'all people for rent? If you ain't using this shit, give it back, because that's the only thing it could be used for. It can't be used for nothing else.
Yeah, I think what's interesting about it is that it's Republicans suing Republicans. So this isn't like a, oh, y'all politicizing it to Democrats. It's literally a Republican being like, what the fuck y'all do with the money? And the governor and the education secretary both have not responded to requests for the documents.
I know they haven't, and they're not unless you force them to.
Yeah, the audit recommended the state return at least $653,000 spent on non-educational items such as televisions and Xbox gaming systems. So if y'all been wondering why you couldn't get an Xbox, they had it over there in Oklahoma. The Republicans playing with it. The audit
with in the state house.
They also said another $5.4 million for possible refund of misspent funds has been they suspect that too.
Yeah, they were blowing that money on any and everything because that's the thing when Trump was. That's why they love when Trump was in charge because Trump didn't give a fuck about where money went, who was accountable. He didn't care about audits, edits, like, and it's people's whole job is to check the books. Like my job is to check the books, and all of a sudden you taking the receipts, ripping them up, or telling me they're not important. Like, so now I can't do my job. So now that literally there's no record because you've given me nothing to record.
I think this also goes into why so many of the GOP people they co-sponsored the big lie that Trump didn't lose and that the election was stolen and stuff, because a lot of them needed the grift to keep going. And it was like, I'm invested in for a penny, in for a pound. I can't have anyone come look at the books. The longer I can put that off, and we know Trump never will, so the longer I can put that off, the better. The more malfeasance that is given that leeway, the better. And I think that's what happened.
Because I don't want the DOJ and the DEA and all these 3-letter words come and FBI and shit coming knocking on our doors, talk about, hey bitch, let me see your books. Right.
And so the final story is the CDC director, Rachel Walensky, I believe is her name. She has called for a shakeup of the organization, saying that it fell short to responding to COVID-19 and needs to be more nimble. The plan changes for the CDC, which they call a reset, come amid criticism of the agency's response to COVID-19, monkeypox, and other public health threats. The changes include internal staffing moves and steps to speed up data releases. Yeah, this is something that really was, and I don't know how they're going to change this to make it better, but the one thing that really was an issue was by the time you get the data on a lot of variants and stuff, it's 2 weeks too late. Like the variant has been out, they needed to get that data in to be like, there is a variant, it's more infectious, it's this, and there's that time period where I think as people are waiting on the data, a lot of people are just out doing whatever they want to do. So then it's like leading to more people being able to get it.
Yeah, and also it goes back to what we were talking about before. They had things in place. They had people whose job it was to watch and like they had this shit. Trump actually went in and blew the shit up, and like you said, left positions open, didn't monitor, didn't watch, told them shit wasn't important. Like literally the people who's like, hey, our whole jobs, we spent decades of our lives studying this shit, we have doctorate degrees and all this shit, they would literally come and tell him shit. Not the why he just got frustrated and was like, nah, I don't want to hear nothing y'all got to say, fuck y'all, basically. And so basically you literally have to shake up and start over again because you're like, this house is a fucking mess. I have to clean the house up because somebody came in here and shit it all in the whole goddamn house. So now I have to take the time to repaint the walls, restructure, build everything back up, throw all the furniture out and start over again, when actually if we would have kept the shit that we had in place before, and my thing is, yes, they probably do need to be faster, but those were things that they would have done if they'd have had the shit in place. They'd be like, oh, we need to get this shit out faster. This, and everybody be like, okay, and it'd have been done. But because nobody knew what the fuck was going on, there was miscommunication. Departments wasn't talking to departments, or there was nobody to report to tell other departments and other pieces of the branches of the government what was happening. This is the end result.
The CDC director, Dr. Rochelle Walensky, told the agency staff about the changes on Wednesday. It's a CDC initiative. It was not directed by the White House or other administration officials, she said. I feel like it's my responsibility to lead this agency to a better place after a really challenging 3 years. The Atlanta-based agency, with a $12 billion budget and more than 11,000 employees, is charged with protecting Americans from disease outbreaks and other public health threats. It's customary for each CDC director to do some reorganizing, but Walensky's actions come amid a wider demand for change. The agency has long been criticized as too ponderous, focusing on collection and analysis of data, but not acting quickly against new health threats. Public unhappiness with the agency grew dramatically during the COVID-19 pandemic. Experts said the CDC was slow to recognize how much the virus was entering from the U.S. from Europe, to recommend people wear masks, to say the virus can spread through the air, and to ramp up systemic testing for new variants. Now, the reason I wanted to point this out with that article from before, everything I just named happened under Trump.
Right.
So it's like it's really fucking is like, because the headline that people are going to read and the things that people are going to say is going to be like, you know, fuck the CDC and that's why you can't trust them and they was always doing a bad job. But I feel like they were kneecapped under Trump on purpose. And then the fallout from that makes people say we won't trust them, we won't do what they're going to say. Even once you get Biden in office, people still like, fuck y'all don't know what you're doing, I don't trust you, you're not good at your job. And it leads to this overall disdain and distrust that hurts the American populace. It's one of the reasons I'm like, when they announce new policies, I'm like, I don't even know how much it matters anymore, because I don't think people are doing what they say, period. Like, and I don't know if this will help get people back to trust the CDC or not. I think probably the biggest, most successful thing Trump was able to do was to erode the faith in institutions to a level that people, good or bad, just deal with their own vibes on stuff now. You know, it's the reason, you know, I can rationally tell you why, hey, we're vaccinated, we can probably stop wearing masks and we can just deal with the fallout of it. And yeah, everyone's probably gonna get COVID, and you just, you know, stay vaccinated and try not to, you know, try not to die out there, right? And my people that mask up, they not unmasking. My people that never wore a mask, they wasn't gonna change shit whether they said mask or not. It's literally vibes for people. No one even cares what their expertise is anymore. When's the last time you really said something the CDC said is gonna change the way I do stuff? You know what I mean? I think the only time that people felt that way lately was probably when they said, it was after the first round of vaccines, when before the virus had mutated and shit, before all these variants started reinfecting people and shit. That was probably the last time people were like, okay, CDC said it's cool, we can go ahead and take the mask off, stop social distancing, right? And then the shit came back and the CDC didn't go, oh God, put the mask back on, because they knew our credibility is so fucked. If we say it, no one's gonna do it. And also they'll say, make up your mind, you don't know what you're doing. Anyway, we saw during COVID in the CDC structure that the CDC structures frankly weren't designed to take in information, digest it, and disseminate it to the public at the speed necessary, said Jason Schwartz, a health policy researcher at Yale School of Public Health. Yeah, they're trying to talk about the speed of the information, but honestly, I think I would be more heartened to hear that they were saying we're doing as much as we can to become an entity separate from political influence, so that it doesn't matter who's in the White House. We just write the news. We just write the report.
Because our job is about the health of the public. Like, these viruses don't give a fuck about how you vote. It will kill you. So it's like, hey, now we need to keep the populace safe.
That's what I would like to hear. Maybe they can't come out and say that, but that's, if they told me they were restructuring, I would say, I hope that's what it's about. I hope it's not just, oh, we weren't moving fast enough. I mean, maybe that's code for we weren't moving fast enough because we had to run our shit by the desk of the White House, and then the White House could tell us, or you know, people attached to the White House could tell us, yippee, add yippee to the end of the report, and we was taking that time to do it. I don't know if that's the problem, and they just can't say that. I don't know enough about the CDC, but I would hope that becoming less attached to whoever's in charge is a big part of it. Walensky, who became the director in January 2021, has long said the agency has to move faster and communicate better, but stumbles have continued during her tenure in April. She called for an in-depth review of the agency, which resulted in announced changes. It's not lost on me that we fell short in many ways. We had some pretty public mistakes, and so much of this effort was to hold up the mirror to understand where we could do better. So yeah, she said the changes will be finalized and approved and underway by early next year. Some changes are still being formulated. Increasing the use of preprint scientific reports to get out actionable data, instead of waiting for the research to go through peer review and publication by the CDC Journal Morbidity and Mortality Weekly Report. That's one of the steps. Restructuring the agency's communication office and further revamping CDC websites to make the agency's guidance for the public more clear and easier to find. Altering the length of time agency leaders are devoted to outbreak responses to a minimum of 6 months, an effort to address a turnover problem that at times caused knowledge gaps and affected the agency's communications.
Because, and like you said, a lot has happened under Trump. A lot of people was like, this is a dumbass. I'm a scientist.
Yep.
Why the fuck am I reporting to dummies?
Right.
Like, no, we're telling you shit. You're fucking ignoring it. Managers ignoring it. Or I don't have a manager. I don't have a supervisor. I don't have a team lead. I just show up to work every day and twiddle my thumbs. I'm going to find me another job in a lab somewhere where I can mix shit and do science shit.
Yeah. Trump, and under Trump there was just a ton of turnover in government jobs, period, because people couldn't deal with the amount of instability and uncertainty that he created. So I would imagine there's a ton of knowledge base we lost in the government. And keep in mind, a lot of this was at the fact that a lot of voters fucked it off and thought, you know, it's a good thing, no experience. You know, it's a good thing, not knowing what to do. You know, we need a business person to run this. And that's exactly what we got in a lot of these situations. You got oil tycoons in the head as the head of the energy department. You got a private school person at head of the Secretary of Education and stuff. Like,
yeah, because you know what they do at companies? They like what they were like, look, this either makes me money or loses me money. And if you loses me money, I'm cutting you. And so you out here doing your job and telling the public, you know, not to go buy shit or lock it down, you're affecting the economy. So in my mind, you're losing money. You got to go. And so those are the things that happen. That's how businesses, the government should not fucking run like a goddamn business. This should not.
That's the opposite of it's the opposite of the government.
Right, because their job is to care about the populace. Their job is not like your job at your job. Like their job is like, we have to run into, and sometimes when you run the government, you actually run into a net negative. Jobs are like, no, if it's a net negative, people got to go.
Yeah, it's not about turning a profit. Creation of a new executive council to help Walensky set strategies and priorities. Appointing Mary Wakefield as senior counselor to implement the changes. Wakefield headed the Human Health Resources and Services Administration during the Obama administration and also served as the number 2 administrator at HHS. Wakefield 68 started Monday, altering the agency's organizational chart to undo some changes made during the Trump administration. So much of it is just about Trump. Establishing the Office of Intergovernmental Affairs to smooth partnerships with other agencies, as well as a higher level Office on Health Equity. Now I will say this. I think these are all good things. I don't know if it'll restore faith and stuff. And I still do empathize with Rachel Walensky, because if I'm not mistaken, I remember like press conferences when the CDC would be having a press conference and Trump would be there.
Yes.
And then Trump would say something that just wasn't true.
Nope. But
it was a lie
of what they were saying.
It would undo the stuff they were saying. And there was times where I understand and I empathize with the plight she was in, because obviously you can either stand up to, you know, or I don't even think it was Rachel Walensky. It was whoever it was. I remember at the time that person from the CDC, because maybe it wasn't her, but it was this woman, because it was the one press conference where we saw like Dr. Fauci roll his eyes and shit. But it was this woman who got up there and said stuff that like was so sugar coated to not piss Trump off that it wasn't necessarily she was lying, but it was bordered on lying. And there was such a level of cowardice to it. And I understand people that were upset by that, because it upset me too, even if, you know, obviously she would have probably been putting her job on the line and he would have just got some crony in there instead. But I just wanted somebody to stand up to that dude to be like, listen, this is not political. This is my job. I will say the truth. I will tell the truth. I will try to protect the American people, because that is what the job was when I got it. And just because you came to office and decided you don't like that, then fire me then. But I'm not going to get on this microphone and back up your sunshine and bleach bullshit.
Right.
And that, if that is people's problem with a lot of the CDC stuff, I can relate to that. You know what I'm saying? That's all I'm saying. I'm not, like I said, I'm not saying, obviously it's easier said than done. And there's a whole nother world where, you know, they did do that, and then I'm sure like he would have retaliated some kind of way that I didn't understand. But god damn, man, like the hurt to the credibility of the organization is immeasurable. And the fact that we live in a world where even 5 years ago, 6 years ago, people would have been like, oh, the CDC said that. We don't even need to argue about it. It's not a Republican thing. It's not a Democrat thing. You know, we didn't argue about this even under Obama when there was like, what the fuck was it? Bird flu or something. Like, we wouldn't even argue about it. We'd be like, yeah, they said bird flu. So, you know, look out for this, this, and this. That was the end of it. Now we're at the point where people are literally like, the CDC is a Democrat liberal organization. And I don't know that you ever come back from that.
Yeah, and it's a detriment to the populace. Like it's sad because like some more shit is gonna happen because the world keeps ticking, and they're gonna come out and tell people shit, and people just gonna say fuck it.
Yeah,
and that's not good.
And I still remember that coon ass nigga Jerome something, the black attorney general, whatever, that surgeon general, whatever, and him running cover for Trump. I still remember that, and it still makes me mad. You know, because I wasn't just mad because, oh, look at you, you a coon, you. It's like, bruh, the thing on your chest that's supposed to mean something is going to mean less and less and less for the next people, because that's not what this job is for. There are jobs that are about cronyism. There are jobs I expect the president pick that person and that person is going to do the president's bidding. But there was supposed to be things that were off limits.
Right.
There's just certain shit where you're like, no, we're not doing that. I don't give a fuck if you're the president. I'm not going to go out here and just lie to the people. But they have, since they've done it, they've given their own people even more reason to not believe in these institutions that are fucking crucial. And as a black person in America, as a black voter, these institutions sometimes are life and death for us. Because as much as like, you know, black people will do the, you know, I'm not even a Democrat or whatever. I hear what you're saying, but show me the progress that was made without government institutions in America for black folks. It's always been, we had to push the wheels of power to say, you're going to fucking protect this right for us. Mm-hmm. You're going to give us this thing. You're going to provide us this service. Those things are the fucking, the rail, the third rail for the train that is the Underground Railroad sometimes. You know what I mean? Like that, in a lot of ways, it has been those things that have helped us as a people, women, LGBTQ people. As much as we like, fuck the government, fuck these white people in charge, fuck this, that when we have fought for change, those things have been vital to the growth of our communities. Mm-hmm. So to see like these bitter white people tell us like the CDC ain't shit, and you know this is gonna be part of the reason that like monkeypox keeps spreading amongst LGBTQ communities, because they're like, that's just a liberal thing to get me care about them gay people. I don't care about them gays. Like that's that bullshit. And I put it at the feet of Jerome Powell. Put it at the feet. I think that was his name. Hope I didn't name some other dude that's not that. But I put it at the feet of these people and their lack of backbone or willingness to just say this dude is wrong. He's lying. Mm-hmm. Like fuck decorum, man. He don't got none.
Right. And this boils down to the thing how everybody keep saying, and a lot of the liberals, a lot of people on the right keep saying, you know, going after Michelle Obama when she make that statement. But you know what going low is? Standing up there and saying fuck Trump, public, this is the truth. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like that, like that's the quote unquote going low, is going against the things he's standing up for. And y'all don't want to do it because, you know, and it's one of the things where if she would have done that, it would have been better, but the same media would have tore her to pieces, because they was like, how dare you say something against President Trump, even though the media, everybody know he's a piece of shit, but guess what? He's the part that keeps their wheels turning. So how dare you come up here and fuck up our ratings and shit like that with the motherfucking truth? That's what would have happened.
All right, let's get into some other news. Believe it or not, other stuff is happening. Okay. You know what? Let's do some LGBTQ news. Well, I can find the intro. There we go.
Let me see what you want to be. You better move your body. You better move your feet. And I want to groove. Show me what's cool. Riding, caring, baby. LGBTQ news.
take us down, but we're still around.
We let it get out.
Try to style and shine, but we on the rise.
We let
But you can't do what we got to do.
we let
Black guys, tips.
LGBTQ news.
All right, let's talk about this horrible fucking news. I mean, it's never good. All right, it's it's like one good thing for like 5 bad things. So let's start with the good thing. You're out. Giants baseball player Solomon Bates comes out as gay. The 25-year-old relief pitcher, who's been out to fellow players since 2019, took advantage of his unexpected release from the organization to get personal. Oh, wait a minute. This isn't good news, really. They always do this like after you get cut from the team and shit.
It's not an active player.
Yeah. I mean, it'll be good news if he gets picked back up somewhere. Yeah. I mean, yeah, I don't know. I feel a way about this. Because I feel like I guess it's good to tell people like, yo, my teammates knew I was gay.
Right.
And they didn't have a problem with it since 2019. I've been openly gay with my team and blah, blah, blah. But like, that's not the same as being like out to the world and stuff. And I feel like it low-key still sends a message to like kids and shit and other gay people like, well, don't be out to everybody while you play. That's crazy.
Right.
I mean, you can be out like with a couple close and trusted people in your locker room or whatever, but calm down with all that gay shit, you know.
Right. Wait till you retire or you can't no longer play.
Yeah. I'm not as good a news as I thought it was. Congratulations to him though, you know, but yeah. We'll see if somebody picks him back up because it seemed like every time somebody be gay, all of a sudden, next thing you know, it's hard for them to catch a job.
All of a sudden, the qualification just decreased instantly.
Yeah, I think there's that dude like Carl Nassib or something like that, who played with the Raiders, and now he's with the Bucks. So like he's the first active gay player on an NFL roster right now, being because like he came out while he was on the Raiders, somehow ended up not being on the Raiders for a while, ain't had no job, and now he's with the Bucks. So I think that's good, you know. So we'll see if he makes it through the season or to the season, because you know they be cutting motherfuckers.
Yeah, they do.
Let's see. Employer suing for religious freedom to drop PrEP coverage complains about bad publicity. Well, then maybe don't try to drop the PrEP coverage.
Right. How you gonna get mad? You the one that did it. That ain't nobody made you or forced you to do it. Y'all act like I'm the bad guy. Cause you is. Right. Just cover the shit. What we talking about here?
I didn't think. Oh no, if it isn't the consequences of my actions.
I didn't think y'all was gonna be mad.
Right. One of the plaintiffs in what could be a landmark case denied health insurance coverage of PrEP and contraception is complaining he's being harassed. John Kelly, an orthodontist in Tarrant County, Texas, is among 4 complainants in a class action lawsuit filed in the state challenging the federal government's authority to mandate access to free vaccines, birth control, cancer screenings, and other preventative services with the Affordable Care Act. What's cancer screenings and what does that got to do with what's cancer screenings got to do with religion?
I have no idea.
You know, Jesus ain't believe in cancer. Okay. Wasn't no cancer.
What he gonna heal then?
Wasn't no cancer in the Bible. All right. So I'm sorry, but you ain't getting no chemotherapy. That's the devil talk. I call chemotherapy the devil's juice.
Oh,
and nobody in my employ is getting it. Attorney from the plaintiffs, Jonathan Mitchell, claims that the name of the suit, Kelly and Xavier Becerra et al., has resulted in Kelly being subjected to threats and cyberbullying.
I'll be wanting them to show proof.
What? Yeah, on top of them not believing them. What about the threat you are to your employees when you like, yeah, I'm sorry, I don't believe in birth control, so you need to pay for that fully out of pocket to get another job.
Right.
That's not a threat. That ain't bullying. Kelly is listed among complainants with Joel Starnes, Kelly's dental practice, Kelly Orthodontics, and consulting firm Braidwood Management. So yeah, he don't like the bad publicity from being a bigot.
Okay, don't care.
A Christian camp director told to denounce his transgender son or lose job.
What?
See, that's what the movie They Them should have been about. Would have been good. A Christian pastor was told that he and his wife had to denounce their transgender son in order to keep his job as a Christian camp director. Instead, he and his family packed up their bags and moved to New Zealand.
Right.
Chris Kinman got his dream job as an assistant director and then as a director of the non-denominational camp in the Pacific Northwest that both he and his wife, Lindsay, attended as children. Lindsay started working as a midwife in a nearby town. Their son, Jay, who was assigned female at birth, had yet to come out as transgender. He was a young evangelist trying to convert his friends at school. He came home from school one day and said, "Dad, I've been praying for my friends to become Christians, and on the bus home today, they prayed, and now they're Christians." Okay, I guess. So working at the camp was a natural fit for Jay, even though he was showing signs of gender dysphoria for years. As a toddler, he would always play the role of boys when playing. He insisted on being called a prince instead of a princess and would paint mustaches on his face. His parents thought he was just being a tomboy. At the age of 10, Lindsay recalls Jay having a meltdown when being forced to wear a dress for the mother-daughter social. Later they said Jay came out as a lesbian as a teenager, and his parents asked him to keep it quiet. Their jobs depended on their image as good Christians. You know what this would do to your dad's job? We just need to keep it quiet. There's no reason to be talking about sex or sexuality. She later regretted forcing her kid into the closet, putting the pressure of the family's financial well-being on the child, and forcing him to be someone he wasn't. When he was 17, someone started outing him as transgender, and he eventually came out to his parents. But by then, the community knew, and the churches in the area, some of the members had kids who attended the camp and were calling Chris in for hearings. They got their hackles up and were saying you can't be gay or trans and be a Christian. They said if you're going to have gay people at your camp, we'll have to pull out. You know what's weird too about that is they do believe you can be gay and be a Christian. You just can't be gay. You know what I'm saying? Like you go to these conversion camps, they really will tell you shit like, we know you're gonna always have urges to have sex with the same sex, but you gotta control those, and you don't have to live a life like that. Of course you have urges, but it's just a sin. You pray, just like it's a sin for people. Some people can't drink alcohol, and some people can't, so even that is full of shit. They want to oust this person, is my point. They didn't even try to do the like, well, you can just be kind of like closeted, or you can.
No, they didn't want to tolerate it.
They was like, oh, you out, and everybody knows. Now we get to be bullies. By the way, all of it would be fucked up. By the way, I'm not advocating for any of it, but Lindsay said that the people from the town were walking in on her midwife duties to talk to her about her transgender son. I will be in the middle of a birthday and they will want to pray for me. She's like, and push and breathe. Excuse me, you got a second to talk about your child? Because I don't believe that is okay. The baby is being born. We just need to roll it over. No, before you do that, before you let that baby suckle with his mother, what's going on with your child? Chris applied for jobs all over the state but couldn't find work, so they ended up moving to New Zealand. And that was one of the only places where her midwife license would still be valid. So meanwhile, Jay stayed in the U.S. and is attending college and transitioning. So good for him. But yeah, that's very Christian. Disown your child. Yeah. Very Christian.
Disown your child.
The families. We believe in families.
But y'all care about the families. Was they part of the Family First Act?
Yeah, we part of the Family First Act.
We part of the Keep Your Family Together coalition.
Yeah. But what we mean by that is break your family apart. Your child gotta be.
Yeah, the names is the opposite.
There's a new dating app though. If you're done with trans people and you tired of all that woke shit.
The dating world is so crazy. the other night I went out with this guy and I was like, what are your thoughts on kids? And he said, I'm not going to have any kids. I feel like it's the worst thing you can do for the environment. Yeah, that's when I knew it wasn't going to work out.
You know, I had a similar experience. This guy seemed normal on his profile. But when we went out, he asked, oh, do you mind paying? I left my gift card in my other fanny pack.
I didn't even get to go on my date. Sorry I'm late. You can ride on the front pegs if you want to get wild.
No one likes bad dates.
That last one is clearly them trying to say that guy is trans, right? You notice that? Like the way they did the voice.
Want to get wild. You can ride on the front pegs if you want to get wild.
Like there's like a voiceover at work there.
No one likes bad dates. Download the right stuff
So
today
the
and start
name of the app is The Right Stuff.
going out with
A dating app for the right wing.
normal guys.
So I guess they try to play it as like comedy. But one of the things that's interesting about this is gay conservative tech billionaire Peter Thiel. He's backing The Right Stuff. Like his money is behind it. At least some of it is, you know. The app is set to launch in September. It's reportedly designed for heterosexual people. So Thiel won't be able to use his own app, even though he's invested $1.5 million into his creation.
Yeah. Did you also put in no blacks? No.
I mean, it's implied.
Okay. So
It might as well be called The White Stuff.
That's what I'm about to say. The white only app.
The white straight stuff. Well, that's not okay. They're not just discriminating against black people. That's not that. Like I said, that's implied.
Mm-hmm.
That,
I get you. My bad.
the main point they want to make is these other dating apps are too inclusive. You're letting gay people on. You're letting trans people on. You know, like it's like that's before you even get the race. But it's for people that don't want to get vaccinated, that kind of stuff. So yeah, it's
I guess people would say, well, get your own. They would say, well, we got our own then.
It's only for people to join by invitation. Women join for free, but the men need to pay for premium accounts. Which means they'll probably have a lot more women than men. And which is so ironic because like, and look, I don't know. I'm not a woman and I'm not okay. Who am I to say? I'm married 20 years. I know the dating game is hard. So maybe these people have it right. And I'm the one that's tripping, you know. I was told that about Kevin Samuels. So let me know my place, you know. But it just seemed to me like if your whole point is I don't want to date a woke man, quote unquote, you're kind of asking to be treated like shit. Like who the fuck are the men gonna be on the app other than men that are specifically I treat people like shit?
Yeah, I harass. Yeah.
The stuff that they think is woke, like it's not gonna stop at a certain point. It's gonna be like I don't think women should make as much money as me.
Yeah, they're gonna get a bunch of dick pics.
Maybe I don't know about the dick pics, but just a general being a dick, I think is what's encouraged.
Yeah, I'm a dick and here's my dick, so kind of go hand in hand.
Sure, yeah, absolutely.
Like
I'm not saying it won't be that way, but I think that's every app with the dick shit. But I think you're specifically like if you think regular dating apps are trash, this feels like the place for trash to go be trash.
Agreed.
It feels even worse than like it's the opposite of Bumble or whatever. I don't know. But yeah, I'll be interested to see how many people sign up for this because a lot of times when they put this shit into production, nobody really wants it. It's just something they say they want. Right. It's like Truth Social. They say they want Truth Social, and then now everybody goes over there, gets hacked, and people are screenshotting Trump's Truth Social things that go on Twitter because no one's interacting with them on his app. Like, I wonder if that's what's going to happen.
Yeah, would not be surprised. Y'all invested all that money for that shit to flop.
Yeah, so I don't know. Just seems fucking stupid. But hey, at least they getting themselves out of the dating pool. The dad of a cheerleader who was attacked by trans teammate insists that his daughter is 100% supportive of the LGBT community.
Okay, what happened?
All right, so a Texas dad whose teen cheerleader daughter was allegedly attacked by a transgender teammate for supposedly calling her a man with a penis says his daughter is 100% supportive of LGBT rights.
No, you're not.
Avery Chanel Medlock, 25, was kicked off the cheer camp at Ranger College and slapped with a misdemeanor citation for assault over the locker room dust-up with 17-year-old Carly Jones. In a series of Facebook posts, Medlock has dismissed claims she choked out Carly and insisted her younger teammate made transphobic references to her body parts and called her a guy who should not be on the team. But Carly's dad has leapt to his daughter's defense, predicting that authorities at the community college in Ranger, Texas will clear her of any suggestion of transphobia in the July 21st clash. She is not doing well. She blames herself. She should have just locked the door, let it blow over, and just come home, said the father of three. I don't want to say too much at this time because I don't want to convolute the investigations that are still ongoing, but when the truth comes out, the rest of the nation will be surprised. My daughter is 100% supportive of the trans community. I have a gay son, so don't tell me I'm fucking homophobic. Jones, 47. Well, first of all, this ain't about you in the first place, so what the fuck would that matter?
Right. And
you weren't there?
No, that's what I'm about to say. You weren't there and you don't know what happened. And your daughter was actually being transphobic kind of by saying this statement.
Yeah, I mean, so we don't have a full video supposedly.
Okay.
Jones has accused Medlock of posting an edited 4-minute clip of the clash on social media that leaves out her threatening remarks. Can we get the full video, not the edited version that fits your narrative he wrote on July 26th on Facebook? As we wait for these investigations to get over, I just wonder when this person will own up to their actions and stop trying to ruin our lives. In Medlock's footage, she can be overheard knocking on the locker room door and asking to come in to apologize. Some of the girls respond by yelling, "You're a man, you have a penis." Jones, however, points to a different clip filmed from behind the locked door in which the trans athlete is heard challenging teammates to come outside and man up. Watch your back, Medlock warns one of the girl in the clip and obtained by the news. Bitch, see me at camp tomorrow. That's all I got to say, she tells another. Her video cuts off because it's an edited version. The other one keeps going, and she is steadily calling them out and says, "Come out and man up." What type of woman would do that? You tell me. There are other parents who have voiced what truly transpired there. They have gone way further than I have. I don't want to comment any further. I'm done. The video shows Medlock and her posse hastily confronting a group of girls hiding behind a closed door for the duration of the recording. Jones claimed this is only a peek of what really happened and that Medlock cut out the physical attack from the video. After the Title IX investigation, I'm sure all the other videos will be released, which will also show that you posted in the edited version to show your narrative, he wrote on Facebook. I need to say something. Medlock can be heard saying in the video as she knocked on the door, "Why can't I say it in front of y'all? What are you afraid of?" Medlock posted the video of the incident along with the caption, "This is the video evidence that I did not assault her. Her father is going around saying that I choked her out and made her pass out. Clearly, I couldn't even get in the room to even touch her." Jones noted that Medlock previously said she was playing with his daughter, therefore admitted to being physical. I asked what you would have done when receiving a phone call at 1 o'clock in the morning from your daughter stating they had locked themselves in a room with other girls. And after this person said, "You want to fight," and proceed to put their hands around my daughter's neck. In the video, Medlock can be heard talking to the group of girls that were hiding away while the only words that peeked through the door were, "You're a man and you have a penis." Well, somebody said that shit. Like, even if you say it's not my daughter, like, it's not like that wasn't said. Like, what the fuck? That is transphobic. What the fuck?
Right. And my thing is they're doing an investigation, and why are you basically going online and harassing people?
So it sounds like the clip was posted online by the trans woman who's a cheerleader.
Okay.
And so this is the father responding to the clip being posted online.
Okay.
And so I don't want to go that far as to get into like him saying something is harassment because
because I thought he was going online. Okay, so the video was posted online. And this is him responding to the video.
Right.
Okay.
I mean, I don't expect everybody to just bow down and be, oh, well, hey, you said this, and I'm sure his daughter told him a version of events, and so you know how it is. Everybody got their own story, and maybe there will be an investigation, and if there's more video, we'll see. But if from what they have shown so far, I don't really see this, like it sounds like he's just believing something his daughter said, or if there's some video out there that he claims exists, he ain't showing it
because he don't have it.
Yeah. If anyone has a problem, Medlock can be heard saying, if anyone has a problem, come address it to my face like an adult. She can be heard then adding, I barely touched Carly, and that she was only joking, contradicting her Facebook claim that she didn't assault the set. I don't think that contradicts it, but sure. The girl stayed behind a closed door until Medlock continued. There's no beef between me and you. Sorry to upset you and make you feel scared or feel terrified. I never want to do that to you. But anyways, don't fuck with me. I won't fuck with you. Have a good night. Medlock received a criminal assault by physical contact citation last week after she allegedly attacked Carly. Carly and the other teammates say they locked themselves in the locker room to hide from Medlock, who said she was mocked for her gender and was called a man with a penis. Medlock was escorted to the campus after police arrived with Carly's father, Mike Jones. After asked when a person like this cries wolf, whether it be race, gender, sexual assault, or anybody that truly needs their voice heard, where does that leave them? Well, guys, I'm officially retired as a cheerleader as of last night around 5:30 a.m. Medlock wrote in a Facebook post, which she shared last week. A girl on the team was being very disrespectful and told me I'm a man with a penis and that guys should not be on the team. I stood up for myself. She called her mom and dad because she was scared because I stood up for myself. Her father says she still has testosterone in the penis and I will kill anyone who comes after my daughter. Medlock's post has since been deleted. Medlock insisted the problems were started by the other girls and she was being targeted because of gender. They knew I was trans. They knew I was different from all the other girls. It wasn't a big deal till her dad came up and made a scene. I was kicked off the team for assumptions because of dad's assumptions of what happened. The outlet noted that throughout the conversation, Medlock, she repeatedly claimed the citation she received was only for assault, yet a copy of the citation revealed it was for unwanted touching. Is that like a huge difference between those two things? I wonder what's the difference. They opened a Title IX investigation, and yeah, that's it so far. You know what? I don't know. And by I don't know, I mean I don't know what the investigation is gonna prove. Sound like a lot of hearsay is gonna happen out of it. To me, not being in the room, from what I just read, my assumption would be, and it's an assumption, so I don't know, I'm projecting. Them girls said some shit to her that made her go off and fuck one of them up. And then them girls went to the cops or whatever the fuck, they parents, and now you're the bully because you had the nerve to like be offended and lash out. I'm not saying it's ideal to lash out on people. It's really not. I know I normally regret it when I fucking do some shit, but I understand it. I've done it. I still remember I fought this kid like 4 times in middle school. And I remember a couple times he called me the N-word. And I was like, yeah, I'm going to fight you. And whatever the consequences were that came with that, those were the consequences. Maybe I'm sure there was other ways I could have handled it. I could have went and told the principal or some shit. And I could have told my parents, which is eventually what it ended up escalating to anyway. I had to tell my parents because we kept fucking fighting. But the point being, like, some fights is kind of worth it. And someone disrespecting you, I can see how somebody would be like, then I guess I'm not a cheerleader no more because I'm gonna fuck you up because that's more important to me than you calling me out my fucking gender and disrespecting me. Because now look at you scared.
You didn't think it was gonna be no consequences.
And it's just unfortunate because of course those fears, it's just like when I beat up the kid or whatever, it's gonna be like, of course, the stereotype of the angry black, oh, look what they did to the poor white kid who's playing victim now. Because, especially with white women, they hit that outrage flop and I'm the victim now. All I did was call you, all I did was do some transphobia. You didn't need to hit me. That's the part that's really against the rules. Like, you're supposed to turn the other cheek. You're supposed to smile. You're supposed to let it go. You're supposed to forgive me. We're supposed to talk it out. No, you're not supposed to put your hands on me. I'm supposed to feel safe when I do things like that to you, even if it makes you feel unsafe. So I don't know. Like I said, maybe the investigation will reveal more, because it is always possible somebody really could just be doing some wild shit, manipulating the video and going to social media first and then getting everybody on their side, and then we find out later like, oh, this person lied about this thing. But just my own lived experience, I don't know. It's hard for me to believe that, because basically if you go by the white people's version of events, a trans woman just joined the cheerleading team and lost her fucking mind.
Right.
Out of nowhere. Nothing happened. No one said anything. She just lost her mind. Everyone ran into the closet to hide from her because she started choking people for no reason, and nobody knows anything. Now, I'm sorry, but that is so fucking hard for me to believe.
Me too.
You talking about needing some proof? I'm gonna need some proof of that shit, because that sounds so crazy to me. I can't, I've seen the other thing many a time. It ain't hard for me to imagine somebody being misgendered on purpose and antagonized. It is very hard for me to believe somebody who wanted to join the team just going, you know what, fuck everything today. I just decided I'm choking white bitches. I don't know. That's a lot. So those are my feelings. Karen?
Same.
All right. Wisconsin school board votes in favor of banning the pride flag. It also prohibits the teachers and the staff from displaying gay pride flags and other items that district officials consider political in nature. I wonder what those other items would be.
But then I don't want to see any Confederate flags. Like if we're gonna go to flags, let's do.
I don't want to see no
flags.
United States flags.
I was about to say that too. I was about to say, if we're gonna let's get rid of all the bitches then.
But yeah, also Black Lives Matter. We back the bad signs, those kind of things too. It's so funny. They're willing to give up like the Blue Lives Matter as long as we can't say black ones do, If you have a policy that says nothing political, does that mean you can't have a sign up that says support our troops, believe women, or save the planet? By some people's definitions, those things are political, says Christine Donahoe.
Yes, they are.
She's an attorney for the ACLU. You know what I keep thinking? I mean, because they probably won't let you put those up either. What I keep thinking is like what we teach our kids in school, especially at the like elementary type level, it is all this shit that is inclusion, sharing, friendship, communication, not hitting, is all this stuff,
cooperation.
And when you grow up, if you still believe in those things, you know what you're gonna believe in? You're gonna believe in LGBTQ acceptance. You're gonna believe in marriage equality,
and I know
you're gonna believe in immigration. You're gonna believe in that's what it means. You're gonna believe in sharing. You're gonna probably end up being socialist or some type of shit. Like that's what those schools teach you at that level. But oh, how dare they see a teacher put it into practice in their real life? How dare they see somebody be an ally or even just be openly out? Like, so crazy. All right, that's it for the LGBTQ news. It's been tough today. It's been a lot of tough news. Let's get into some other tough news, everybody.
Okay.
Judge will allow people who have seen surviving R. Kelly to participate as jurors in the Kelly Chicago trial. Yeah, I don't know where you was gonna find all these people that had never heard of R. Kelly in Chicago.
Right. I don't know where you thought that was gonna happen.
Yeah.
Unless you were just gonna move it somewhere else. But even then, everybody, I mean, it ain't like don't nobody know about it.
I feel bad for whoever was trying to get out of jury duty, by saying they saw it.
Nope.
And they're like, nah, too many people saw it. You still in. Fuck. I got all his albums. Everybody here got all his albums too, dog. Just go ahead and sit down.
Everybody was stepping in the name of love too. I hate to. Nope. We have already dismissed over 1,000 people. They was like, nope, we can't dismiss everybody. So I don't know what to tell you.
Right. And honestly, it's like the documentary is so long and got extra parts to it and shit. It's not like if you've even seen like a minute of it, you know he's guilty. Let's see. South Carolina blocks an abortion law as the Senate considers a new one.
Okay.
What's interesting about this is that there was a senator who basically got choked up talking about his role in voting for this abortion law and the impact that it had on someone. Let's see, I'll play it from YouTube.
I'll move to my final comments then, Mr. Chairman. I voted for the pain-capable bill.
Keep in mind, he's a Republican. Okay.
The fetal heartbeat bill. And fetal heartbeat has been for 6 weeks now. The second week that the fetal heartbeat bill became law, a doctor called me out of Anderson. I live in Easley. A 19-year-old girl appeared at the ER. She was 15 weeks pregnant. Her water broke. And the fetus was unviable. The standard of care was to advise her that they could extract or she could go home. The attorneys told the doctors that because of the fetal heartbeat bill, because that 15-week-old had a heartbeat, the doctors could not extract. Right. So their only choices were to admit the 19-year-old until that fetal heartbeat stopped. I asked, how long does it take to stop? She said,
wow,
seconds, minutes, hours, maybe days, or discharge. They discharged that 19-year-old. The doctor told me at that point, there's a 50% chance. Well, first, she's going to pass this fetus in the toilet. She's going to have to deal with that on her own. There's a 50% chance, greater than 50% chance that she's going to lose her uterus. There's a 10% chance that she will develop sepsis and herself die. That weighs on me. I voted for that bill. These are affecting people, and we're having a meeting about this. It took that whole week. I did not sleep. I followed up with the doctor a week later. She had heard nothing, did not know about the 19-year-old. Thank God I followed up 2 weeks later. She did return to the ER. They did extract the now non-beating fetus. What we do matters.
Thank you, Representative Collins.
1 second, Mr. Chairman. I'm almost finished. Out of respect for the process, I'm not voting today. But I want it to be clear that myself and many others are not in a position to vote for this bill without significant changes to the bill. And
as Representative Newton said, if we pass this out as favorable, you'll have an opportunity on the House floor.
So, yeah, that was an interesting thing because, one, he voted for that bill in the first place. Everyone was telling people about these bills and the lack of exceptions and the risk it had to real people.
Nobody cared.
And for him, it happened, knowing that it happened to someone for real. It wasn't just some shit that people say, that he now has reservations about the bill and wants it to be rewritten before he would vote for something, any level, some type of ban on abortion again. It's just, to me, horrifying. I know some people will see this and feel empathy for him and pat him on the back and, oh, what a good Republican. But to me, it's horrifying that you couldn't imagine this was about real people until that moment. Like that because then if it wasn't about real people for you when you voted for it in the first place, all I can imagine is that it was about the litmus test of how Republican you are.
Right. If
you're a good conservative or not. And to get down to lay down shit with conservatives now is you need to be no abortions, no exceptions ever. That's how they measure a good Republican. And he was chasing that, at least to some level. Because he wanted to look the part, and then he just happened to have a fucking conscience. And we can't depend on Republicans having a conscience. Like, it's best to just keep them out of office when we can, because I can't depend on you to individually have your heart grow 3 sizes that day because you heard a sob story. These stories are happening all over, and of course they're going to continue to keep happening. So, I don't feel as much whatever for him as other people might feel. And if I knew more specifics about the vote, I would wonder if it was something where he could have voted against it but chose not to vote. In that case, that's you still a coward. You know what I mean? Like, I'd rather you be like, I'm gonna vote against this shit if y'all try to do it, than be like, well, I'm just not putting in a vote. But I don't know that part for sure because I don't know the specifics of this vote.
Yeah, this is the shit that people were telling y'all before y'all voted on this. This is the shit that people were begging and pleading and coming forward and talking about and, lobbied and all this shit. You ignored it because the shit didn't matter. And also, it's one of those things, we're not trying to be funny. Was she a white woman? Was she somebody that could have been your daughter? Could have been your granddaughter? Could have been your wife? So now you care? Versus before, it was just something that them others happened to those others. So as long as it's them others, you didn't care. So, it's just really, really jacked up and really messed up that it took the reality of this. Yeah, that person had to wait 2 weeks for a heartbeat to stop. Imagine that. Like, that's no joke. Yeah. And it's one of those things where people need to vote. People need to be relentless about voting. People need to get on your family members' asses about voting. Don't let these hoteps and these other people infiltrate your family and your friends and be like, no, you need to vote. Get out my face. You need to vote. And people that always have something to say, but they never vote, need to go on and get to. Because why are you loud? Why am I hearing your voice and you did not put no skin in the game? I don't want to hear anything you have to say.
Also, if your goal is to get so that, isn't the whole stated goal of the anti-abortion movement to get more babies, more lives? This person could have died. Mm-hmm. They could have lost their uterus and the ability to create more children with their bodies. Mm-hmm. So how is your goal serviced by this? And keep in mind, there is no place in America where you can just like get an abortion. I'm 37 weeks pregnant, time to get me an abortion. I decided yesterday I don't feel like having it.
Right. People act like you flip a coin and just be like, all right, that's not like people sit and think about this shit.
There's no state like that.
Mm-mm.
So like the scare tactics that they use are so crazy because, like our state, I just saw we have like a 20-week abortion ban that a judge said can go into effect. That's what people, that we are still a state where they'll be like abortion is allowed. You see what I'm saying? We on the check mark, yes or no. North Carolina is a yes, and you have 20 weeks to decide. So I don't know how many weeks that is, but how many? What is that, like 5 months or something?
5 months, I'm running that.
Yeah, so like you have 5 months to decide, and then after that you have to have a baby. And so this idea, like, we don't want you to have, you can't decide to have an abortion and there's no medical exceptions. It's such draconian bullshit. And it's mostly white people deciding this, white evangelicals, and a lot of white men who will represent the Republican Party being the ones to decide this for other people's bodies.
Right.
And so
something that you will never have to make that decision.
So, cry me a motherfucking river, but dog, you just now had this realization. Welcome to the party, pal, but you late as fuck right now. Like, this is no cause for celebration. You ain't a hero to me. I'm not applauding you at all. Like, this is common sense. And it almost cost somebody's life. Thank God she didn't die, but I guess you would have just stayed up an extra week if she died. Like, this shit was always stupid. You didn't know it was stupid when you were signing it. You didn't have reservations when you were signing it. What, you just thought this couldn't fucking happen? Pregnancy is so crazy. The body is so crazy. Anything can happen.
like a lot happens when a person is pregnant. Your organs move, your heart shifts, your lungs shifts, your stomach shifts, your liver, your whole body repositions itself. Like, it takes a toll on your entire body.
Yeah. So all right, let's move into some other news. Let's see, do I have any? Oh yeah, you know what, we should do a little bit of election news today. Oh man, Donald Trump says, he hints that he'll raid Clinton and Obama if he retakes the White House. Always saying the loud part out loud. Just isn't just like always threatening to do the shit that he fucking is guilty of.
Mm-hmm.
It's like, I will use it in the way that's like, you tried to insurrect the country, my dude. There's a reason you being investigated.
Right.
Like, this ain't no motherfucking Joe Biden's son's laptop bullshit. But yeah, he hinted that he would run up on them in an email to his Save America PAC. The payback for Mar-a-Lago will be brutal. Keep in mind, this is the guy talking about turning down the heat for Merrick Garland.
Turn down for what?
She posits that the Trump probe, which she brands as political and breaking norms on sensitive investigation close to an election, could come back as the Democrats if Republicans take charge. Mr. Garland's raid has made even the highest political figures fair prosecutorial game, and the media's new standard is that the department can't be questioned as it goes about ensuring no one is above the law, in quotes.
Because no one should be. What are we talking about here?
The fact that you put it in quotes as a bad thing, boy, is that just saying it with your whole face, huh? I mean, people should be above the law. Yes, he broke it, but he the president. So yeah, the threat is Trump will take office and then get retaliation, which I say good. Thank you for saying it. Even more fucking reason to keep going after your ass. Because now, if you thought motherfucking there was no interest in getting this motherfucker on a personal level, it's got to be personal at this point. Then fuck it. You talking about you gonna come get me for shit I didn't do, and you did do the shit? Yeah, we got to get you. His supporters' threats to a judge, Trump's supporters, spurred democracy concerns. That's right. Hundreds of federal judges face the same task every day, reviewing affidavit, blah, blah. So the person that reviewed the Mar-a-Lago search, a judge that signed off on it, is now getting threats, has had themselves their name put out there and all this other shit. Mm-hmm. Reinhardt's home address is posted on right-wing sites along with anti-Semitic slurs. The South Florida synagogue he attends had to cancel his Friday night Shabbat services in the wake of the uproar. And Trump has not told anybody to chill out.
Yeah, because he don't care. This is the point. The cruelty is the point.
Some people even called on Reinhardt to recuse himself because he has previously made donations to Democrats. Reinhardt also, however, contributed to Republicans. But that don't matter because they don't care about facts. I mean, that's what happened when you just let motherfuckers lie for years and years and years, and there's no checks and balances on it on social media. They got their own alternative reality where this dude is a, Hillary Clinton, Obama, Democrat supporter that with no evidence at all, no probable cause, just said go run up on Trump. I don't like him.
Right. Not that we hadn't been trying to get information from you for over a year and a half. Fuck all that shit, though, right?
Yep. Meanwhile, Trump is rushing to hire seasoned lawyers, but he keeps hearing no.
Good. Everybody tell him no.
People don't want to take the case.
Right. Why would you? So you could sit over there and look like a fool like Judy Rudiani, whatever his name is.
You know what's funny? I was thinking about this woman. This is so random, but remember that black woman that represented Bill Cosby on TV? I don't even think she did it in the courtroom. I think she was straight up just chasing
and she was there for the grift.
Yeah, I think she was chasing the cloud off of it. And I still remember even some of the people in our chat room being so fucking like enamored with the fact that it was this fly looking black woman who, you know, was well put together, wearing these, you know, pretty loud colored dresses, going on TV. And it was just the fact that it was a black woman that you could see people softening on the like they could, like if it would have been a black dude saying it, they would have been like, this motherfucker's disgusting. How can you defend this goddamn predator? But I got to see it in real time work on people. It's like, she sure is pretty. I like that hair though. Look at that dress.
Don't care. She's still representing a piece of shit.
Yeah. And I was thinking like, I wonder if she would take the Trump case. And if we would go through this again, where people would do the like, you know, representation matters type of shit where it's like, well, at least he hired Monique Presley, you know, she's a beautiful black queen.
I think because it's Trump and so many people have such a disdain for him. You would have some people that would, some of the coons would, but you know, most of us are like, but be like, no.
Okay, all right, it was just a question. It just made me think about it. I was thinking of people that had defended pieces of shit. That was all. Pence, Mike Pence. Now, Karen, I hope you're sitting down for this one.
I am.
All right. Mike Pence tells the GOP to stop lashing out at the FBI over the Trump search. Is he making his move? Finally? Is he making his move? I mean, you can't respect it because it took so long, but is he finally making his move? He also said he's willing to talk to the January 6th committee. He said we'll give due consideration if asked to testify before the House committee.
Yeah, and I could see him doing it because Trump basically was like, fuck that nigga. I don't care what happens to him.
It's just, but why not earlier? You see what I'm saying? Like, I know what you're saying, but it's like he tried to kill you January 6, 2021. It is now August 17, 2022, and you like, you know what? I think that motherfucker was trying to kill me. Like,
and it also may be because he knows that they're gonna come knocking on his door. Like some of that shit is somebody has said something about him being in the room or him being around, so he knows eventually he was like, hey, you know what? If y'all want to talk, I'm here.
I mean, listen, it's like Joe Manchin. I'll take it. You know what I'm saying? Whatever. Better late than never. But I'm a little surprised. You seem to have no bottom. You seem to, no pun intended, JL. You seem to have no bottom. You seem to literally, there was no depths this man would not go to just continuing to be an ally to Trump and to ride out this, like, we need to just stick to Trump. And I'm surprised that his little finger moment comes so late. Maybe he's about to declare his own run or own candidacy, but like,
possibility.
What could be the reason now? Like, he must have seen that warrant and been like, finally, this motherfucker. Like, it really feel like some Game of Thrones shit.
Something happened.
Wow. Yeah, I was shocked when I read this. Shocked. Meanwhile, Melania Trump says she was unaware of the riot on January 6th.
Bitch, if you don't stop lying.
Blames a staffer who said she was at a rug photo shoot.
If you don't stop lying, that shit was every fucking well. I don't believe you, ma'am.
She didn't know it was her.
I don't believe you.
On January 6, 2021, I was fulfilling one of my duties as First Lady of United States of America, and accordingly, I was unaware of what I was she never used these words, simultaneously transpiring at U.S. Capitol building. Said the former First Lady on Fox News Digital in a statement.
So she couldn't cheat off Michelle Obama, so somebody had to write it for her.
She didn't know. She didn't know.
I don't
Whole
believe
family trash.
The First Lady.
Whole goddamn family trash.
You did not know. This shit was every fucking where.
Last news in this segment.
I'm surprised she didn't wear a jacket about it.
Right. I don't care, do you? Liz Cheney lost the primary last night. And there was a lot of, what does this mean? This the end of an era, that kind of stuff. And I think there's some nuance here. First of all, you have to start with this. Liz Cheney is clearly a piece of shit. Like, I get that those of you that still have Republican best friends and shit don't want to hear that part. There can't be many of you left listening to this podcast. That's really on you,
right?
Not me. But she's clearly a piece of shit. She voted with Trump 93% of the time. She still sides against anything Black Lives Matter, anything, like she's a Republican.
Yes, she is.
She's just not a Trump Republican.
Right.
Meaning that the only issue she has is the Trump thing.
Correct.
She's been right about one thing, Donald Trump. And so there comes the next part of this when I said some nuance. It was a sad night to see her lose to me. It was sad. Not because I think she's a good person, but because of what it means for that party. Her replacement will not be better than her. Her replacement will probably just be a Trump supporting white woman. So it's not good news that she lost. I don't personally feel sorry for her, but I feel sorry for what this says about, standing up to Trump in the Republican Party. This is the litmus test for a lot of people. I think there were 10 Congress people that voted to like hold him accountable and voted for impeachment and stuff. And I think 8 of them are gone. Like, I want to say like 4 or 5 of them just straight up was like, I ain't running again. I know I'm gonna lose. And she ran and lost, and like 2 or 3 others ran and lost. And then I think 2 of them won their primaries. But yeah, man, it's not good news. I don't feel great about it. It's nothing to celebrate here. It's ultimately some people say you have Pyrrhic victories. This is a Pyrrhic loss to me. Like, we lost, and then we also like lost even worse than we lost. So yeah, but the good news, it sounds like she's mulling a run for president. And obviously I wouldn't vote for her and I don't want her to win, but I hope she does. And I hope she runs third party. Hope she doesn't even run against Donald Trump. I hope she runs third party and someone finally siphons off votes from the fucking GOP. Tired of this shit happening only to Democrats.
Right.
Y'all deal with this problem. It's like when the Tea Party was trying to get in and get their Tea Party candidate, and I'm like, go ahead. I mean, y'all ain't gonna have enough people, but sure, go ahead, fuck up that ticket and let the Democrats slide on through, because y'all niggas be in the way. So that was all I had to say about that. And I guess you have no feelings about Liz Cheney.
I was contributing. I think she's a terrible person, and I actually don't care.
I think that's why most people
it's very simple to me. Like, it's not complicated. I'm glad that you against Trump like me, but other than that, we ain't got nothing in common.
Same here, but I think her being part of the committee for the January 6th hearings, a level of like bipartisanship and legitimacy to it to a certain extent. Yeah, that will be missed. I think as somebody that cares about the optics of the shit, that'll be missed. But yeah, it wasn't worth Like, I still would rather, if I'd take any Democrat over her, including Joe Manchin and Kristen Sinema. Like, she's still ultimately like the problem, you know.
Agreed.
All right, let's get into some other stuff. We had an hour and a half already. How?
We over here just a yik yakking.
Covered a lot of stuff. All right, I'll skip fucking with black people, right? We don't need to do that, right? Aren't we fucked with enough? It's been a pretty bad day.
I think we have.
All right, let's get to Leonard Brothers' favorite game. Let's do some guess the race, Karen. How about that? Where's my guess the race music? Oh, that's not even that works.
It's time to guess the race. It's time to guess the race. It's time to guess the race. It's time to guess the race.
All right, guess the race. Go around the globe, find different articles. Karen guess the race of people involved. Chat plays along. They racist. I think I said it all. During a video visitation with her jail boyfriend, a Florida woman exposed her breast and masturbated. Oh, some OnlyFans.
Oh shit!
According to a police who arrested her for the alleged lewd display. Oh, you hate to do that, you know.
Somebody in the bushes filming or some shit.
I just pictured that scene in like Cable Guy. God, that movie's so underrated. But when Lloyd, I think that was his name. Well, whatever Jim Carrey's character's name was, when he put his boob up against the glass and said, what you need is human contact. Oh, what a movie.
The best.
I'm gonna rewatch that. According to court documents, Danielle Ferrero, 38, traveled Sunday afternoon to the Charlotte County Jail for an hour-long visit with inmate Cody Thomas, 25. Ferrero was in lockup's video visitation building, while Thomas was elsewhere in the facility. The visitation session occurred via internet feed, and there was no physical contact. During their visit, they frequently talked in a lewd manner, speaking of sex, sexual organs, and sexual activities. Frequently flaunted and rubbed her breast covered, showing the revealing outfit she was wearing, calling her outfit naughty. After Ferrero mentioned how she repositioned herself and almost had an orgasm, Thomas asked Ferrero to have one for her, and she began to rock back and forth in her chair, appearing to have an orgasm, investigators allege. I just want to be the people whose job it is to watch this footage.
Right? Like, your whole job is to watch. Check this out. What's happening over here?
This is a bunch of dudes in a room chewing on pens and crossing their legs and shit. Near the session's conclusion, Ferrero exposed her breast to Thomas, resulting in the visitation to be canceled by staff at the visitation center. It's like a dude in there, and and they're like, "Oh my God, we got an alert on level 6. We got somebody pulling out some titties. I'm about to cancel the visitation." It's like, wait, not yet. We need to get
3 more minutes.
as much incriminating evidence as we can.
We need this all on footage so we can press charges.
Send this footage to my office immediately. I need to investigate it. Don't turn it off. Everybody close. Everyone take a lunch break.
Somebody was like, I want what she's having.
Yeah. Ferrero and Thomas are pictured in mugshots. At the time of the August 8th incident, Thomas was about a third of the way through his 30-day sentence for possession of drug paraphernalia and driving without a valid license. Oh man, I guess 30 days is a long time to go without seeing some titties though. Now you gotta do. She gotta do time. Then you got damn.
Now everybody in jail.
He was arrested during a traffic stop while behind the wheel of Ferrero's car. She was in the passenger seat. After police found a needle containing meth, Thomas reportedly assured Ferrero, "Don't worry, I told him it all belonged to me." Upon the right, well, you know what? Honestly, if he's willing to take the rap for both of y'all's meth, the least you can do. Show some titties. I mean, I'd do it.
The least you can do.
Honestly, I'd do it. If I got caught and somebody was willing to take the rap for my drugs, I'll be like, so I'll show you some titties in about 10 days. Is that cool? We call it even. But yeah, she was arrested for exposure of sexual organ in a public place. Ferrero then declared, "I cannot believe that showing Cody my boobs would get me arrested."
Should have had a pasty.
Apparently, she hadn't heard of the Miranda rights. That's pretty incriminating, man. While Thomas's name has been redacted from the police report, TSG has confirmed the prisoner with whom Ferreira was visited. He was released on bond Friday. He's scheduled for arraignment on September 1st, which is sad because, you know, he's going to have to go back to jail because he got to visit her in jail and pull his dick out. And he's going to keep going. Each one go back to jail.
Back and forth.
Pull your dick out. He's like, oh, I'm going to have to do 30 days. Don't worry, I'll come visit you and show you my titties. In addition to the misdemeanor exposure rap, Ferreira is also facing a probation violation related to her conviction last month for theft. In a plea deal, Ferreira was sentenced to July 21st to 3 years probation for swiping FedEx packages left outside of a Port Charlotte residence. I mean, come on, Karen. They're clearly meth addicts. Stealing packages. That was the least surprising thing I read so far. They stole some packages.
Not off the porch.
Not porch pirating. What?
I can deal with the masturbation, but how dare you pick shit up off the porch?
Ferreira's rap sheet includes convictions for battery, criminal mischief, grand theft, public intoxication, drunk driving, resisting, disorderly conduct, and a partridge in a pear tree.
Hitting them all.
Since she had been convicted in multiple theft cases, Ferreira was charged with a felony for a recent porch pirate activity. All right, Karen. They're both the same race. Guess the race.
What was her name again?
Her name is Danielle Ferrero, and his is Cody Thomas.
White.
All right, let's check the chat room. She's uncolored. Saggy meth mayonnaise smelling titties white. Great value OnlyFans white. White. As white as what is in his sock. Yuck. Monkey battery. No. White. Monkey battery is what's in the socks. White as the meth. The correct answer is everybody said the same damn thing. I guess y'all all of one accord and you're all right. White. They don't look that bad for meth heads. Like, they must be early in the meth.
Must be.
You know?
The beginning stages.
I mean, I'd look at them titties. You know? I get it. I get it. Let's go to the next one. I mean, y'all know why I would look at them titties. Okay.
I like the Caucasian girls. They like to feel on me. I like to feel on me. And double D's. Hey, that's what it is.
I love that clip.
All right, let's go to the next one. Police say a Maryland man was arrested after victim finds stolen car in Pennsylvania. According to a criminal complaint filed against him, a Maryland man is facing numerous charges, including several felonies, after he was arrested on July 27. Police were dispatched to locate a stolen vehicle. According to the state police, a victim reported a home invasion in which his Tesla was stolen to DC Metro Police, who in turn told the victim that their detectives were short-staffed and they weren't able to take the complaint, with it being only property crimes. Welcome to having a woke DA.
I don't know what to tell you.
Hey,
these are the consequences.
Okay. Nevertheless, the complaint says the victim used Apple's farm. It's funny because it's true. Anyway, nevertheless, the complaint.
Right? It's either this or crime and punishment. You pick.
Nevertheless, the complaint says the victim used Apple's Find My iPhone to locate his vehicle.
Oh, did he put a tag on it?
Yeah, you know what's fucked up about that is, like, you would think that the state police, like, you would think the DC Metro Police would at least have time for that. But I guess, but it was taken out of state, so maybe they'd be like, nah, that we ain't doing
okay, it's
that.
out of state.
Nevertheless, so state police say that upon arrival, they located the Tesla parked in a grassy lot near the intersection of two streets I've never heard of. While police were investigating the Tesla, they say a second victim ran out of the log cabin suites, frantically requesting state police. When they spoke with the victim, police say she told them she was inside her room unpacking when a man exited the bathroom. According to the complaint, the man later identified as 42-year-old John Russell Baralovitz began acting erratically, at which point the victim left the room. The complaint says the victim described Borolovitz to police and provided them with his direction of travel. When they located him and attempted to detain him, police say he threw a soft drink cup at them and attempted to grab a stun gun from his pocket while resisting arrest. Oh, he was ready. He was taken into custody. He said he found the hotel key on the road and let himself in to use the restroom. The complaint also says that he related to police that he parked the Tesla because it was running out of a charge. I guess that is the thing about stealing a Tesla. It's like, where do I got charged the shit up at?
That right. I was like, unless there's gonna be some plugins, what's the point?
Yeah. Police say the first victim was able to provide photos of the burglary during which the Tesla was taken, and the photos show the individual later identified as Borolovitz in the victim's home wearing the same clothing he was wearing when he was taken into custody. He's been denied bail and is currently being held in prison. Guess the race.
What was his name again?
John Borolovitz.
Russian.
Russian is not a race.
Oh, white.
Okay, there you go.
My bad. That's a nationality. I'm sorry.
Vigilante from Peacemaker Energy, white as fuck. I didn't know Teslas could just be stolen so easily. Honky, it says Alicia, taking it back to the Jeffersons. White vodka, Jan 6 Reveler, white, Dirty Neck, white, Das Vidanya, white. The correct answer is white.
They must know how to drive the vehicle, because the average person wouldn't know how to do it.
Drive what? A Tesla? I don't think they're hard to drive. It's not like driving stick. It's just electronic. You just drive it like a regular car, except it's electric.
I just plug it in.
I mean, no, you drive it like a regular car. How to charge it? Is that what you meant?
No. I thought maybe like it would be different to start up or something like that, because everything pops up differently. I was just asking because I don't know.
Oh, okay. All right. It's just like driving a regular car.
Okay.
From everything I've heard. I think charging it is the part that's hard because you don't never know where
unless you got like a house you can plug it into something, huh?
Yeah, you don't necessarily know where you can charge it.
And I've seen those charging spots, but they kind of sporadic. They ain't like gas stations.
Right. All right, let's go to the final round. Karen is 2 for 2.
Yay!
Here we go.
That was why I ain't racist. How can I be racist about anybody or anything in my life? How can I?
Call them niggas. Just call them niggas.
It's time to get
Gold teeth, gold chain wearing, fried chicken and biscuit eating, monkey ate baboon, big dive, fast running, high jumping, spear chucking, 360-degree basketball.
All right, it's time for the final round. Karen so far is 2 for 2.
Yay!
But let's see if she can finish this on a high note.
I will try.
With our final one.
New details have emerged from a gruesome Bedford County homicide we first reported this morning. State police say a man was killed with a crossbow Sunday morning on Railroad Avenue in Liberty Township in Saxton. Police say 24-year-old Alec Rhodes is accused of firing a lethal shot to the neck of 53-year-old Darren Lingenfelder. According to affidavit, state police and EMS were called to the residence shortly after 10 Sunday morning. Police say Lingenfelder was dead when they got there. Police say Rhodes left but is now in custody and faces multiple charges, including criminal homicide and first-degree murder. A preliminary hearing is set for June 2nd.
All right, Karen. Guess the race of, what was his name? Alec Rhodes.
Oliver Queen, you have failed this city. What the hell is happening here?
What race is that?
White.
Okay. All right, let's check the chat room, see what they believe. Arrow doesn't use crossbows, does he? Yeah, sometimes. I mean, him motherfucker used guns in one season. He was wilding.
Wouldn't he though?
Daryl Dixon was mad as fuck white.
That's a good one. That's a good one.
Rogue white man, extreme sports with dad white, black. Ramsey Bolton white. Heels have eyes in bread white. Going white. Fantasy weapons white. The correct answer is white. Oh, somebody said I'm going black for a change. Come on, buddy. You knew that wasn't us. That's him.
Point blank, too. Hit him in the neck.
I know. I won't be the first nigga to die by a crossbow.
Right? Now, if you said he held the crossbow sideways, I'd be like, black.
Not this time.
Not this time. You were holding it upright.
Man,
archery position.
A crossbow, man. That's creative.
Right?
Oh, well, speaking of medieval weaponry, you know what the next segment is? The final segment. A woman was attacked by a sword-wielding acquaintance in South London. Acquaintance? Damn, y'all polite. London aunt.
You weren't even that close to me. You killed me?
No wonder this happened in Canada. London, Ontario man is facing multiple charges, including aggravated assault and robbery, after police say he threatened a woman with a sword. On Monday at 3 a.m., a woman and a man who police say were casual acquaintances began to argue inside of a residence on Conway Drive. Police say the man seriously assaulted the woman with a knife, made threats to her, and forced her into the washroom of the home while in possession of a sword. The woman's mouth was reportedly duct taped by the suspect and her phone was taken away. Police say the woman was unable to leave. Yeah, that sounds pretty fucking serious. I wouldn't call you my acquaintance if you did something like that to me. Shortly after 8 a.m., police received a call from the South End and the city after the victim escaped the residence. The victim was taken to a hospital with serious but non-life-threatening injuries. Cameron Abdul Muhammad Abdullah, 38, of London, has been charged with aggravated assault, robbery, uttering threats of death, of bodily harm, and forcible confinement. He remains in custody and scheduled to reappear in court on Wednesday. No picture, but, guess the race, I guess. White for let me
say what's the name again?
Cameron Abdul Muhammad Abdullah.
Oh no, not white.
White on okay.
Not white. My bad.
Okay.
My bad.
I mean, I don't want to go guess the religion or some shit, but guess the race. I would assume black.
That's why I was like, wait a minute, let me
brown, some kind of brown.
Brown. Pakistan, Indian.
All right, y'all. That's it. Thanks for listening. We'll be back Saturday because today is actually Wednesday and not like I thought it was yesterday. Also, we're going back to Crowdcast version 1 because people had issues with the sound. And when I tried to download the video to put on YouTube, it was blank for like 90% of it. So I don't know what happened with the Crowdcast. I'll definitely be at their next meeting thing to talk because I'm on that program. So I'll be asking them some questions and bringing up y'all's concerns about it. So thanks for listening and thanks for trying that out with us yesterday. All right, we'll be back tomorrow, Saturday. Until then, I love you.
I love you too.
Mwah. Bye.